I rise today to support an alternative plan to educate our kids in Michigan. This plan balances the needs of our kids today while ensuring we maintain financial sustainability in the future. The highlights of this plan are as follows. A K-12 foundation allowance of $9,608 per student, which is a 5% annual increase and in line with the governor's recommendation. Special education funding fully phases in the 2-year foundation plus reimbursement model that I spearheaded last year. This initiative adds hundreds of millions of dollars annually to our chronically underfunded special education system. The governor's proposal fell short of meeting this stated 2-year phase-in, but I'm very grateful to my Senate counterparts who included it in their proposal. A record deposit into the teachers' pension system of $2 billion, which will not only save money over the long run that can be used in classrooms, but also ensures our teachers receive the benefit they were promised. For school safety, $286 million is distributed on a per-pupil basis to continue helping public and non-public schools secure their buildings. In addition, we would double ongoing funding for school resource officers to $50 million, a line item of funding that Democrats have eliminated in their proposals. The funding we provided in last year's budget for school resource officers is working as well as can be imagined. Administrators and parents want to see it continued. My proposal would also add some flexibility so districts can hire their own employees to serve as school resource officers. And I hope we can get behind this common sense and effective method of keeping our kids safe. For early education, this plan builds on the momentum of recent improvements to our Great Start Readiness program. This plan raises funding to $14,000 per child, helping providers hire staff and expand capacity. The governor's universal preschool plan is misleading and unworkable and has no real plan behind it. If implemented, poor kids and rich kids would end up competing for a limited number of seats. To catch up on lost learning for missing valuable classroom time during the pandemic, this plan provides $300 million focused on getting kids more instructional time through flexible options such as tutoring, after-school learning, summer school, and expanded calendars. For mental health support, this plan has $150 million to continue the important effort to improve school-based mental health initiatives, funding it on a per-pupil basis. To help fill our teacher shortages, this plan continues the Grow Your Own program with a $100 million investment. This program has been widely accepted and supported throughout our state and will help non-certified K-12 personnel become teachers. This program was an example of bipartisanship in budget negotiations last year, and I have been disappointed to not see it in this year's proposals. For career and technical education, this plan has $15 million for equipment upgrades at our schools, $10 million to recruit and retain CTE teachers, and $5 million to incentivize school districts to expand CTE offerings. This plan recognizes the recent recommendations from the School Finance Research Collaborative and the Department of Education and funds transportation costs. It costs more to bus students in some districts than others. Our plan reflects that reality by providing $50 million to reimburse schools for transportation costs based on population density. For cyber schools, this plan says no to the Democrats' plan of shortchanging thousands of students who take online classes. On top of that, this plan, it's important to note what this plan does not fund. We do not fund $2.4 billion, and we leave that funding on the balance sheet for a rainy day. Spending the entire school aid surplus now would put school finances in a dangerous position moving forward, especially as we continued with economic uncertainty. It's worth noting one non-monetary line item in this budget that Democrats removed. It is a provision that school districts have a policy prohibiting abortion referrals to our kids. If this Democrat proposal gets enacted, our kids could be connected to an abortion provider without the knowledge of their parents. It is a highly troubling change, and I hope we can reinstate the language to ensure parents know what's going on with their kids. Overall, this alternative budget I propose is balanced and sustainable. I encourage my colleagues to support this substitute. Thank you, Mr. President. Community colleges continue to fulfill important roles across the state of Michigan. I am offering an alternative state budget plan that will help them accomplish their mission in a sustainable and affordable way. The highlights of this plan include a 4% increase for operations funding, $620 million in ongoing funding to offset local millage operating revenue and reduce reliance on local community college districts. This would allow community colleges to have one tuition rate for students, regardless of where they live. It would make college more affordable for students who do not live within a community college district and would lead to lower property taxes within districts. This plan includes $100 million to continue helping community colleges pay off debt. This frees up resources for other purposes and also improves long-term financial outlooks. $50 million would be provided to help community colleges make their campuses safer for students, faculty, and staff. There's $500,000 for the Pregnancy and Parenting Student Services Program, and our plan would also continue the Michigan Reconnect program, but it would not lower the age requirement for that program. So thank you, and I urge a yes vote. So today I'm offering an alternative plan to fund Michigan's public universities. It is more sustainable and a long-term plan as many universities deal with enrollment declines and changing demographics in our state. The highlights of the plan are as follows. Ongoing funding for universities would shift back to the general fund and away from the state school aid fund. A 2% ongoing operations increase for universities. In addition, universities would realize the equivalent of an increased operations funding because the plan provides more money to pay off debt. There's a total of $500 million included to pay off debt in ways that would benefit all Michigan public universities, including those who are part of the MIPSR system and those who are not. So we started paying off MIPSR's debt, pension liability debt, over the last 2 years, and this budget, this proposal would get us to the finish line. And this saves universities millions of dollars annually. This plan continues the transition toward a fair funding model that closes the gap between universities. It raises the funding floor for universities that historically have been underfunded compared to others. This plan provides $150 million specifically to make campuses safer and more secure. $500,000 would go to the Pregnancy and Parenting Student Services Program. This funding would help women who want to have families and continue their education at the same time. This plan provides $5 million for ethical stem cell and fetal tissue research while prohibiting research on aborted fetal tissue. This plan also has several accountability measures. This includes a requirement that universities report how much money they receive from foreign entities, the nature of those contracts, and how much money is being spent. It caps how much money can be spent on DEI programs and maintains current law on vaccine mandate policies. This is a sustainable budget that emphasizes campus safety, sustainability, accountability, and many other important initiatives. There are substantial headwinds in higher education. Of our 15 public universities, some have seen dramatic enrollment declines over the last 10 years. As our demographics shift, this problem will not be going away anytime soon. We should be making our universities more solvent, which will help de-risk their financial liabilities. This will enable our universities to survive over the long term, and I ask for your support. Thank you, Mr. President.